In this episode, we're going to talk about Google, AI, search, YouTube, cloud subscriptions, and much more that was discussed on the latest earnings call. Keep in mind, we use the power of AI to create this video. More details on the screen right now and in the description.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a big one. Alphabet's first quarter 2025 earnings call transcript.
Yeah, we're really getting into the weeds of their performance and, their future vision based on what they said.
Exactly. And our source material here is that official transcript. So it gives us and you a direct look straight from the leadership.
It's all about what they achieved, what they see coming next.
So our mission for you listening is, to pull out the really key insights, give you a clear picture of where Alphabet stands, their strategy, without all the heavy financial jargon.
We're focusing on the big developments, what they actually mean.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The overall feeling from the quarter seems pretty positive, strong results.
It does, yeah. The transcript points to really healthy growth across the different parts of the business. Definitely get a sense of momentum.
And it feels like, AI keeps coming up again and again. It seems central to almost everything.
Absolutely. Leadership is hammering this home. AI isn't just, some future thing. It's here. It's now. Powering new stuff. Driving the business forward.
Okay, let's zero in on search then. That's still the foundation, right? How's it doing?
Still performing very well. They reported continued double-digit revenue growth there.
Which is impressive given its scale already.
Right. And what's really striking is AI overviews. They mentioned over 1.5 billion monthly users.
Wow, 1.5 billion. That's massive adoption. It really shows how AI is changing search habits already.
It's a huge number. And they also talked about this experimental AI mode in labs. Early reaction.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Sounds like the initial feedback is quite positive. They described it as basically an expansion of AI overviews, but with more advanced reasoning, multimodal stuff.
Multimodal meaning?
Handling different types of info text, images, maybe more. And interestingly, the queries people type into AI mode, they're apparently twice as long as normal search queries.
Twice as long. Huh. So people are asking more complex things, treating it more like a conversation.
That seems to be the implication. Users might be engaging with more complex, multi-step questions, which, could really change how information gets structured online down the road.
That's a fascinating point, a real shift in user behavior. And it wasn't just text search seeing this AI boost, was it? Multimodal was growing, too.
Exactly. Big growth there. Circle to search, draw on your screen to search, that's now on over 250 million devices. 250 million devices already. And usage was up nearly 40% just this quarter. Plus, visual searches with Lens up by 5 billion monthly since last October.
5 billion more. People are really getting comfortable using images to search for things.
Okay, moving beyond search, what else stood out? Subscriptions.
Yeah, subscriptions saw really good growth. They've surpassed 270 million paid subscriptions now.
270 million.
Primarily driven by YouTube and Google One. It just shows a huge base of users willing to pay for premium features and content. That's a seriously significant subscriber base. It really highlights the strength there. And of course, Google Cloud. That's always a big focus.
Always. Rapid growth reported again for cloud. And a big driver, unsurprisingly, is the strong demand for their AI solutions.
So they're really competing hard in that space.
Seems like it. It definitely highlights their position in the cloud market, especially with everyone scrambling for AI capabilities.
And speaking of AI, they talked quite a bit about their actual models, right? Gemini 2.5.
Yes, they positioned Gemini 2.5 as their most intelligent model yet. Big performance breakthroughs, industry recognition, that sort of thing. It's clearly key to their future AI plans.
And the Pro version?
Gemini 2.5 Pro got positive feedback from developers, from consumers. Apparently, it ranked #1 on the chatbot arena.
Chatbot arena. Is that like a benchmark?
Yeah, basically a crowdsourced leaderboard. And it led significantly in things like reasoning, coding, science, math, which is, pretty telling.
So it's not just internal hype. It's actually performing well in comparative tests, especially for complex tasks.
Exactly. And they mentioned active users in AI Studio and the Gemini API have grown over 200% since the start of the year. Huge developer interest.
Wow. Okay. And there were other models too, Flash.
Right, Gemini 2.5 Flash. That's aimed at developers needing to balance quality and cost. They also rolled out Imagen 3 and Veo 2, their latest for image and video generation.
So keeping pace on the creative AI side too.
And Gemma 3, their open model, hit over 140 million downloads. So the open source community is definitely engaging with their work.
That's a really broad portfolio of models. It shows, serious investment across the AI landscape. And it's not just having the models, it's putting them to work, right?
Precisely. They said all 15 of their products with over 500 million users now use Gemini models in some way.
All 15? That's deep integration.
Yeah. Examples given included upgrading Google Assistant on mobile and later tablets, cars, wearables, and the Pixel 9a phone having AI features like Gemini Live.
Gemini, is that the camera and screen sharing thing?
Yeah, that's the one. And they said that's rolling out to all Android devices, including Pixel and the Samsung S25.
Okay, that's big. Bringing advanced AI to the wider Android ecosystem. And this AI focus extends heavily into cloud, too, beyond just the models.
Oh, definitely. Google Cloud is really pushing its leadership in providing the nuts and bolts for AI training inference. They're emphasizing cost, performance, reliability.
Trying to be the go-to platform for AI development.
Right. Attracting AI leaders, big global brands. And their Vertex AI platform now offers over 200 foundation models for customers to build on.
So they provide the tools and the infrastructure. They also mentioned AI agents. What's that about?
Yeah, that seems as a growing focus. They're providing tools to help build these agents, like an open source agent development kit and a low-code tool called Agent Designer.
And what did these agents do?
Think of them as AI assistants for businesses, basically. Automated workflows, handling specific tasks. They mentioned Google Agent Space being used by companies like KPMG for better information access.
Interesting. So AI doing tasks for companies, and they're using AI in their own stuff too, right? Like Workspace?
Massively. Google Workspace is delivering over 2 billion AI assists every month.
2 billion a month. What kind of assists?
Things like summarizing emails in Gmail, helping you refine writing in Docs, practical stuff that you'd actually use day to day. It shows AI isn't just theoretical.
That scale is hard to wrap your head around. Okay, and AI is also playing a role in cybersecurity.
Yes, they're integrating Gemini into their security products to help detect malware better, prioritize threats faster, speed up investigations.
Makes sense. And they're planning to buy Wiz, the cloud security company.
That's the intent, to strengthen their end-to-end security, especially across different clouds, and maybe spur more multi-cloud use.
That could be a significant move in the security space. Wow, AI is just everywhere in this report.
Pretty much.
We should also touch on YouTube. Big anniversary, right?
Yeah, 20 years. Quite the milestone. Shows its journey to becoming this huge global thing. Subscriptions are a big part of it now.
Still growing the subscription side.
Seems so. They mentioned exploring new things like a premium light pilot in the US. And get this, Nielsen data says YouTube is #1 for streaming watch time in the US.
#1, ahead of Netflix and the others.
For watch time, yeah. And they have over 1 billion monthly active podcast users now, too.
1 billion for podcasts on YouTube. That's massive. Really shifting the landscape there. And the main music and premium subs.
Those reached over 125 million subscribers globally, including trials. So strong demand for ad-free and music.
Okay. Another area that always gets attention is Waymo, autonomous driving. How's that progressing?
Seems to be accelerating. They're now doing over 250,000 paid passenger trips weekly.
Weekly? Wow, how does that compare?
That's a 5-fold increase compared to last year, so significant growth.
That really suggests it's becoming more of a real service, not just an experiment.
Exactly. They opened paid service in Silicon Valley, expanded their Uber partnership in Austin, prepping for launches in Atlanta. DC and Miami are on the map too.
So expanding geographically quite a bit.
And making progress on trickier things like airport access and driving on freeways.
Okay, let's switch gears quickly to advertising. How did the core ad business look?
Still very healthy. Google services revenues overall were up 10% year over year. Both search and YouTube ads showed strong growth.
What drove the search growth specifically?
They called out financial services, especially insurance and retail, as the main drivers.
Okay. And YouTube ads? Also up 10%.
Yep, 10% growth there too. Primarily driven by direct response advertising, followed by brand ads.
Interesting. And the AI overviews we talked about earlier, are they making money from those yet, or how does that impact monetization?
They said AI overviews are monetizing at roughly the same rate as traditional search results.
Yeah.
Which is, important as they roll it out more widely.
Good to know. So it's not hurting ad revenue, at least for now.
Doesn't seem like it. They also mentioned shopping on Lens grew over 10%, and their demand gen ad format, which uses AI, is apparently showing big conversion lifts for advertisers.
So AI and ads is actually delivering better results.
That's the claim. And they gave some partnership examples too, like Roblox using Google Ad Manager for immersive ads, Toyota working with a YouTube creator, shows the reach.
Right. Okay, let's look at the big financial picture then. Overall numbers.
Looked very strong. Consolidated revenues up 12%, or 14% in constant currency. Double-digit growth across search, YouTube ads, subscriptions, platforms and devices, and Google Cloud.
Pretty much strong across the board. Profitability.
Operating income up 20%, which pushed the operating margin up to nearly 34%. Net income jumped 46%, EPS up 49%, and they generated about $19 billion in free cash flow.
Those are some seriously strong numbers. And what are they doing with all that cash?
Returning a lot to shareholders. In Q1, they bought back $15.1 billion of their own stock, paid out $2.4 billion in dividends.
And they're continuing that.
Looks like it. They increased the quarterly dividend by 5% and approved a new $70 billion share repurchase plan.
$70 billion! That's a huge authorization. Signals real confidence. How about cloud-specific financials?
Cloud revenue grew 28%. Impressive. And they said GCP, the core cloud and AI stuff, grew even faster than that. Profitability improved there too. Higher operating income and margin.
So cloud is becoming more profitable as it scales. Good sign. What about the future outlook? Investments?
They're planning around $75 billion in CapEx for 2025. That's capital expenditure.
$75 billion. Mostly for?
Primarily technical infrastructure, servers, data centers, basically building out the capacity needed for AI and cloud growth.
Makes sense given the demand.
Right. And because of those big investments, they expect depreciation costs to accelerate through 2025. They also anticipate some headcount growth, but focused on key areas.
And any specific comments on cloud demand versus supply?
Yeah, they mentioned cloud is in a pretty tight demand-supply situation right now. Demand is high. This might mean revenue growth could be a bit variable depending on exactly when they bring new capacity online.
So timing of deployments could affect quarterly numbers?
Potentially. They expect more capacity to come online towards the end of 2025.
Okay, got it. So quite a lot to digest there. Let's try and distill the key takeaways for you listening. What really stands out?
Well, first, it's unavoidable. AI is not just talk. It's deeply integrated, and it's genuinely driving growth and innovation right across Alphabet's main businesses.
Yeah, it's not just a feature. It's becoming fundamental.
Second, the scale of adoption for things like AI overviews, that 1.5 billion number, it's just remarkable. It's just a real fundamental shift in how people are interacting with information.
People are embracing these new AI tools very quickly.
Third, the sheer amount they're investing, the $75 billion CapEx plan. The research, it shows a deep, long-term commitment to staying at the forefront of AI.
They're placing huge bets on AI being the future. What else?
Well, beyond search, you see AI transforming productivity with Workspace, powering cloud, even moving into transport with Waymo. Its impact is incredibly broad.
It's touching almost everything they do.
Right. And despite this AI focus, core areas like search and YouTube are still growing strongly. They remain incredibly relevant.
They haven't lost focus on the foundations.
Definitely not. Also, the focus on AI agents for businesses. That seems like a really significant future opportunity to watch.
Yeah, automating tasks for companies could be huge.
And Waymo's progress, while maybe still early days in the grand scheme, definitely points towards autonomous vehicles becoming more real, more viable.
The tech is maturing.
And finally, even with all these massive investments, they're showing financial discipline. The buybacks, the dividends balancing future growth with returning value now.
So a picture of strength, AI-driven momentum, significant investment, but also financial prudence.
That sums it up pretty well.
Okay, so to recap for everyone, we've unpacked Alphabet's latest earnings call, and really, the story is a company performing at a very high level. AI is clearly at the heart of their current success and their future plans.
Yeah, it's changing search, powering cloud, showing up in productivity tools, autonomous driving. The integration is deep, the results are tangible, and the possibilities seem enormous.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to consider. Given how fast these AI models are advancing and how broadly they're being integrated by giants like Alphabet, how might our everyday interactions with technology change even more dramatically in just the next few years?
Yeah.
What new things might become normal that we, can barely even imagine right now?
It's a fascinating question. This report really does feel like a window into that very rapidly approaching future. Makes you think, doesn't it?